Anime dubs have come a long way. No one can really dispute that. However, the last few years of anime dubs have seen an uptick in a practice called SimulDubbing, itself a term short for simultaneous dubbing. Essentially, this practice equates to dubbed anime coming out the same week they come out in Japan. This reduced time to market has served as a boon to the Western anime community since its inception, and for Funimation branded shows, since that's where the practice originated. However, while these concepts may sound good on paper, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to ensure the end product comes out at a reasonable time. The biggest elements that seem to get lost in this process are the voice acting and localization. Let's compare Chris Sabat's dub as All Might to the original Japanese performance by Kenta Miyake. Quick disclaimer, I'm aware that acting performances aren't one-to-one. However, as a dubbed show, the director typically likes to stick as close to the Japanese performance as possible. That is, of course, unless they don't make sense with Western colloquialisms. Examples of this come up with honorifics, such as Chan and Kun, where scriptwriters and directors will often change and exaggerate names to ensure these honorifics don't come up, since Western English doesn't use them.
So my priority when it comes to writing the dub script for the adaptation is to stick as close to the spirit of the Japanese as possible. So once I get the translation in, I can actually go through and say, okay, this animation is already done, this mouth movement is already done, and I have this line in the translation, but it's not going to fit the animation. Or because of the way it's animated, this line in the translation needs to really be reversed or switched or moved somewhere else. So my first draft through the script is really going through and saying, okay, here's how I can maybe make this work and move these lines around or adjust these lines so that they'll fit the animation, while sticking as close to the Japanese as possible.
象徴としてだけではない。お師匠が私にしてくれたように、私も彼を育てるまでは、それまでは。そこまで身にふあらがっていたとは。まだ予算だった。まだ死ねんだな。そりゃ星が入ってなかったからな。さらばだ、オール・フォー・ワン。ユナイテッド・ステイ・アトム・カモン。さらばだ。One for all. I'll beat you. Not because I'm a symbol, but because I will do as my master did for me. Until I finish training young Midoriya. Until he's ready. It's embarrassing how much you're resisting. I won't. Perhaps I was wrong. I refuse to die! That's because I didn't put my back into it that time! Goodbye. All for one. United States of Smash! Goodbye. One for all.
I can't say whether this performance was the result of direction he was given or some other factor. However, comparing his performance to Miyake's, a clear distinction can be made between the quality of the two performances. According to the series' own director, it takes around 2 weeks from the time the Funimation team receives a finished product from Japan to the time they upload it to the Funimation website for viewing. During that 2 weeks, there are multiple stages the team has to go through in order to complete the finished products American audiences are used to viewing. But they can probably explain it better than I can.
SimulDubs have anywhere from a 2 to 4 week timeline that we're looking at to actually get the whole process done. But with My Hero in particular, we get all of the materials from Japan 2 weeks, or hoping for 2 weeks, prior to the official launch date of the episode in Japanese. And since we're doing an actual true SimulDub in English, which means that we're launching on the same day and date with the Japanese, we have a really tight window for all of production to happen.
Now, none of this is me saying that Chris Sabat is a bad voice actor. Quite the opposite, in fact. I grew up listening to Sabat's voice acting in the late 90s and early 2000s as Vegeta. I know he can voice act, and that's exactly why his performance as All Might being inferior to Miyake's bugs me. At the very least, he should be on par for the course. And if you're at all doubting that Sabat can actually pull off a comparable performance to Miyake, well, I think this next clip tells a different story.
Vegeta, hey, what's wrong? Vegeta, what's going on? Something's attacking me. Where? We can't see anything. Inside. Fight it! Resist! I can't! You must! That's it! Resist! Don't let him win, Vegeta! Don't let him do it! That's it! Fight! Fight it!
Sabat clearly has the vocal talent necessary to make the same enunciations, or better, than Miyake does in his. But he doesn't. His effort here seems stifled. And while several factors could be contributing to this, performance laziness, difference of interpretation, etc., my inclination leads toward the director not having enough time to extract the correct takes from Sabat to truly capture the performance needed for the scene. Don't get me wrong, I'm not picking on Sabat or the director here. This is a problem that comes in a lot of modern anime that are being simuldubbed for audiences. This, to me, was just the most stark example of the problem, and it's a problem I think is really affecting the overall experiences of Western anime watchers. Let's take a look at 3 more anime so I can better articulate what I'm talking about here. All 3 of these examples tie not only into voice acting quality, but localization quality as well. When speaking about anime in terms of both the voice acting quality and localization being up to par and in many cases better than their Japanese counterpart, the example that comes to mind is Yu Yu Hakusho, in particular the scene with the Spirit Orb test. Quick disclaimer, this contains spoilers for Yu Yu Hakusho in case you weren't already aware. This next clip is an example of what happens when directors, as it happens, Justin Cook is both the director and the voice actor here, take the time to really draw out the performances of the character and change Japanese idioms and colloquialisms to English. If you pay close enough attention, you'll notice a few lines that are changed between the sub and the dub.
霊怪獣はお前の心を栄養にして生きるお前の分身だ。お前が精神的に弱くなれば霊怪獣はその影響で死んでしまうことだってあるのだ。気をつけろよ。どっちが分身か分かりゃしねえぜ。すまねえな。こんな根性なしが本体じゃ。痛みは邪魔だ。
The connection with your spirit beast is a full package deal, Yusuke. It is like your reflection. When you're happy, it will be happy. When you're in pain, it will suffer. And if you die, so will it. It is you.
Oh, that's just perfect. I even get to let down my own inner self, too. He's in pain because I am. Because I couldn't hold my weight.
Now, am I saying that this doesn't happen with Funimation's SimulDubs? Of course not. They even admit that it does.
Nita is actually the translator, and she takes the materials and watches the video and listens to the Japanese version and translates for us exactly what they're saying, with the understanding that we need to know colloquially about how it sounds to the Japanese ear.
What I'm saying here is that the team at Funimation that worked on this dub all those years ago got to go through the entire anime and design the script as a whole story to reflect a consistent character that was relatable for American audiences while working to give those same audiences the best performance possible. And with the amount of time SimulDubs have between receipt of the product and their English air date, one can reasonably extrapolate that there is simply not enough time to produce a product of the same quality. Let's take a look at one of my other favorite anime. Notice the differences between the two performances.
Is it all my fault? Then tell me what I should have done! Go to hell! It's your own fault for being weak! You lost because you were weak! You need to practice! I can tell you don't practice! If you say I should but I can't, then why don't you just quit? Don't show! For me, everything is on the line! I don't even have anything else left, damn it! Shogi's all I've got! You gotta stop using alcoholism in this game! I have no patience for weak players!
This dub, and in particular this scene, is one of my favorites because both actors chose to lend different interpretations to this performance. You don't get the sense that one is objectively better than the other. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. SimulDubs are not to the same quality as their Japanese counterparts, and it's not the fault of the actors. It's the fault of Funimation for trying to push out anime as quickly as possible for Western audiences instead of taking its time to produce a product that will be memorable to those same audiences. There's one more example I'd like to show to close out this video, but before that I'd just like to say that on paper I really do appreciate the concept of simuldubbing. Being able to bring to market anime dubs a week or two after their Japanese air date is nothing to scoff at. However, I think the overall quality of the voice acting and localization suffers for this same time to market, and that in the long run the Western anime community is going to be left with fewer high-quality dubs than it otherwise would have if proper time, care, and attention were devoted to developing cohesive scripts and vocal takes that truly captured the reasons why dubbed anime were created in the first place, to give Western audiences a taste of Japanese culture, a taste of a new and different medium of animation and storytelling, in a way that was easily digestible, sensible, relatable, and on par with their Japanese counterparts, so that regardless of which side of the argument you stood on, whether that was sub or dub, you'd know and understand that that decision came down to one of preference, not one of quality.
Spike. 今、自分がどんな顔をしているかわかるか？
何？
お前には、俺と同じ血が流れている。別の血を求め、さまよう獣の血だ。
そんな血はもう、流し尽くしたさ。
ならばなぜ生きている？もう、
You should see yourself. You have any idea what you look like right at this moment, Spike?
What?
A ravenous beast. The same blood runs through both of us. The blood of a beast who wanders, hunting for the blood of others.
I've bled all that kind of blood away.
Then why are you still alive?